The tyrant virus, abbreviated as T-virus, was the name given to a strain of engineered weaponized viruses derived from the progenitor virus. Created in secrecy by the Umbrella Corporation, the T-virus was designed to essentially eliminate the need for a conventional army, replacing armed soldiers, or at least partially replacing them, with reliable intelligent BOWs or bioorganic weapons. These BOWs were to be created by combining the effects of the T-virus with various living creatures to make enhanced beings capable of following orders and completing simple missions, such as guarding specific areas or targeting individuals for elimination. This virus was intended to be sold as a bioweapon to militias and governments across the world in order to raise the funding needed for Umbrella's main agenda, their eugenics program. After the discovery of the progenitor virus in 1966 by doctors Oswell E. Spencer, Edward Ashford and James Marcus, the three men decided to each undertake their own individual research into the progenitor virus. They then founded the pharmaceutical company Umbrella to act as a legitimate front organisation, masking their true intentions as well as to assist in raising funds for such a costly endeavour. During Umbrella's early years, the company's researchers attempted to extract the progenitor virus from its only naturally occurring home on a specific species of flower living within an underground cavern in West Africa, and house it within their US and European-based research facilities. They initially struggled to recreate the exact conditions needed for the progenitor flowers to survive, eventually establishing a lab within the cavern itself where the flowers could be grown, the virus extracted there and then exported to Umbrella's main facilities. While both Spencer's and Ashford's research yielded only partial success, with Spencer's own efforts being abandoned by 1978 and Dr. Ashford reportedly dying from exposure to the progenitor virus, the first real breakthrough came from Dr. Marcus's research after splicing the progenitor virus with leech DNA. This newly created strain was named the T-virus. It showed great potential as a mutagenic with a high infection rate and able to be spread quickly. Its use on human subjects saw a very different effect compared with progenitor infection. While the individual themselves were essentially dead, the body, although beginning to break down and decompose, was still living and would still retain very minimal brain functions, remaining active and mobile. They would also become highly aggressive, attacking anyone in their sight, and had an insatiable hunger, leading to cannibalistic impulses. Infection of the T-virus, such as through direct injection into the bloodstream or ingesting it, would lead to these symptoms typically within the space of a few days, or in some cases in as fast as 24 hours or less. During the course of infection, the subject will begin to develop symptoms starting with itching and inflammation of the skin, first around the immediate area of the virus's ingress. Over time, spreading across their entire body, they will develop painful blisters and welts and suffer from gangrene. Later, their higher brain functions will begin to break down, with the body becoming more and more mutated and the brain more and more damaged. They will lose their mental faculties and only very basic lower brain functions like sight and simple motor functions will remain, as well as an obsessive, uncontrollable need to feed, becoming a zombie. Depending on the type of host, the T-virus can differ greatly in its effect. Mammalian hosts, such as humans and dogs, become zombie-like creatures, while birds, reptiles, amphibians, and insects usually have a less mutagenic reaction, but will instead increase in size and aggression. With Marcus's success, Spencer over time grew more and more paranoid, and worrying he might betray him, he ordered the training facility be shut down and for Albert Wesker and William Birkin to carry out Dr. Marcus's assassination and steal his research. William Birkin was then promoted and labelled as the T-Virus's creator. An important test subject during this time was Lisa Trevor, a woman Umbrella kidnapped as a young girl and experimented on. She was the daughter of George Trevor, the man Spencer had hired to design the Spencer Mansion. Testing was carried out over several decades on Lisa's body, and she showed a rare ability to adapt to the progenitor and T-viruses rather than simply succumbing to them. An engineered parasite named the NE-alpha was implanted into her. The purpose of this parasite was to attach to a host's nervous system and essentially act as a replacement for their damaged brain in an attempt to restore lost intelligence. But her immune system killed it and absorbed it into her body. When Birkin investigated, he discovered an all-new strain within her blood and named it the G virus. William Birkin then drew up plans to develop the T-virus further by splicing in RNA from Ebola into its genome to improve its infection rate. However, there was still a 10% chance of a person being immune. To counter this, development started on bioorganic weapons designed to be unleashed into an area following T-virus saturation, to then seek out and kill any remaining survivors. This creature was made by splicing a human embryo with reptilian DNA using the T-virus as a bonding agent. This created the BOW known as the Hunter. Following on from the success of the Hunter program, Umbrella set out to create an even more effective BOW, this time taking a human subject cloned from an individual with a gene only 1 in 10 million people possess, and infecting them with the T-virus alongside surgical enhancement to create an even stronger and more intelligent BOW known as the Tyrant. This would be the most advanced BOW created with the T-virus, with the most notable model being the mass-produced T-103, which in addition to being the most widely used Tyrant variant, would also serve as a base for the Nemesis program. During development of Tyrant, one particular variant of the T-virus named the Epsilon strain, designed to force further mutation in humans and would lie dormant in the host system, then reactivate and enter a hyperactive state. This process is known as V-Act. This results in a fallen zombie rising once again, blood rushing to the muscles, increasing their strength and giving them their distinctive red skin colour, growing elongated canines and clawed hands. In the most extreme cases of this mutation, the Crimson Head will mutate even further, resulting in a licker. The halfway point between these two phases is known as a suspended. A number of treatments do exist for the T-virus, with varying results, either developed internally by Umbrella or by other parties. There are 3 kinds of treatment: antiretroviral drugs based on different types of herbs, antibodies provided in tablet form, and vaccines made by staff at the Raccoon General Hospital and later by Will Pharma Corporation. T-virus infection was the primary cause of fatalities during the various accidents and outbreaks in the Arklay Lab, Umbrella Training Facility, Raccoon City, Rockfort Island, Umbrella Antarctic Facility and Umbrella Carcassus Facility. Following Raccoon City's destruction and the downfall of the Umbrella Corporation, the T-virus found its way onto the black market, falling into the hands of numerous different organisations, including corporations, arms dealers, terror groups and governments, introducing a new era of bioterrorism resulting in a number of attacks across the world, killing hundreds and destroying entire towns and cities. The T-virus was also further developed, creating different variants of it, some by Umbrella themselves, such as T. Veronica, created by Alexia Ashford, which contained plant genes and under the right conditions allowed the host to retain full intellectual capabilities. T. Phobos, created by Alex Wesker, under orders from Spencer in an attempt to engineer a virus that would keep even the most elderly alive indefinitely. And others created by other parties after Umbrella's fall, such as T. Abyss, a variant which caused severe mutations and genetic restructuring, giving the host marine-like characteristics. So what do you guys all think of the T-Virus and the rest of the Resident Evil lore and storyline? I think it's all really interesting to think about, and that it has one of the best video game plots and storylines, and that Resident Evil is one of the most classic game series out there. It's just got such a deep and cool universe that sometimes I'll just start thinking about it and daydream for like an hour just thinking about it. I really do enjoy it all, especially the older games with the viruses and BOWs and Umbrella and those sorts of themes. Usually when we see the T-Virus depicted in the games, it's shown to be suspended in a green liquid, but then in the movies it was shown to be blue and the antivirus was green instead. Which do you prefer? I myself prefer it when it's green, as that's what it looked like in the first games. I do think it's cool when each virus has its own specific colour. Something I like that they added in the movies was the vials having that DNA helix shape that the virus was in. I thought that looked awesome, and I found a lot of pictures of some prop replicas of the T-Virus and vaccine, but unfortunately I couldn't actually find any to buy. I guess they just don't make them anymore, which is a shame, as when I saw them I wanted to get a set to go alongside my replica RPD keys that I have. Thanks for watching my video, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. If so, I hope you'll give the video a like if you feel it deserves it, and then if you aren't already subscribed, then why not do that too if you're interested in catching future uploads from me. And as always, I'll see you all next time.